Welcome to the class on wound healing. Injury to the cells and tissues results in the loss of cells and tissues. It sets in inflammation which would restrict the tissue damage and initiates the replacement of the lost tissue by living tissue. Definition of healing is it's a process of replacement of the dead tissue by a living tissue. It can be broadly divided into regeneration and repair. Regeneration is a process in which the lost tissue is replaced by a tissue of the similar type and results in the complete restoration of the lost or damaged tissue by proliferation of the residual uninjured cells and replacement from the stem cells. Repair is defined as a process in which the lost or damaged tissue is replaced by fibrous tissue or scar. Now you can see in this picture there is a normal tissue lined by a single layer of squamous epithelium, and there is a mild superficial injury and a severe injury. Mild superficial injury, there is a loss of minimal tissue, and that is why it is healed by regeneration. Whereas there is a severe injury, there is loss of lot of tissue, that is why it is healed by scar formation, and this is by regeneration, this is by repair by scar formation. The factors which would decide the pattern of healing would be proliferative capacity of the tissue or the extent of tissue injury. The proliferative capacity of the tissue again depends upon the three types of cells. The first cell would be the first type of cell is a labile cell, which is continuously dividing cells, and these cells are proliferating throughout the life, replacing the lost cells from the stem cells. Examples are hematopoietic stem cells of the bone marrow, surface epithelia of the skin, oral cavity, vagina and cervix, and the columnar epithelium of the gastrointestinal tract and the uterus. Stable cells, that is cells of the stable tissue, normally do not proliferate but can proliferate in response to tissue injury or loss of tissue. Examples are parenchymal cells of liver, kidneys and pancreas, mesenchymal cells like fibroblasts, vascular endothelial cells, smooth muscle cells, chondrocytes and osteocytes. Permanent cells are the cells of these tissues cannot proliferate after the birth, and in these tissues the repair is by scar formation. Example, the damaged neurons are replaced by proliferation of the glial cells, skeletal muscle cells and cardiac muscle cells. They do not proliferate. And the second factor is the extent of tissue injury. If the injury is mild and short duration, it is healed by regeneration without significant scarring. If the injury is severe and chronic, it heals by scar formation. In case of severe tissue injury, it damages both the parenchymal cells as well as the extracellular matrix, and it sets in chronic inflammation. The stem cells are characterized by their ability of the self-renewal and capacity to generate differentiated cell lineages. There are three types of stem cells: embryonal, adult and induced stem cell. The sites of the stem cells reside in the special microenvironments called as niche in bone marrow. There are two types of stem cells, that is hematopoietic stem cells, which gives rise to all the cell lineages of the bloodline, and the marrow-stromal cells. They can generate chondrocytes, osteoblasts, adipocytes, myoblasts and endothelial cell precursors depending on the tissue to which they migrate. Intestinal epithelium, these stem cells may be present immediately above the Paneth cells in case of small intestine, or at the base of the crypt in case of large intestine, that is the colon. The liver contains stem cells in the canals of Henry, which are capable of differentiating into hepatocytes and biliary cells. Cornea, it is located in the limbus region between the conjunctiva and the cornea. Skin, it is located in the bulge area of the hair follicle, in the sebaceous glands and in the lower layer of the epidermis. Cell cycle and proliferation. Inflammation is the primary response of any living tissue to the injury. With inflammation, there will be damage or the loss of tissue which has to be replaced by a living tissue, and this replacement is done by transient increase in the cellularity due to proliferation of the cells by either regeneration or repair. So the proliferation of the cells is characterized by DNA replication and the mitosis, that is cell division, and the sequence of events that controls this DNA replication and mitosis is known as cell cycle. Now coming to healing by repair, a scar formation of fibrosis, the healing you already learned, it is either by regeneration or repair or combination of the both. Okay, so if there is a mild, there is regeneration. If it is severe, it is by scar formation. So the same picture is shown here. The normal tissue, there is an area of injury. Because of the tissue injury, there is inflammation, then there is formation of granulation tissue composed of capillaries, newly formed capillaries, inflammatory cells and the fibroblasts, and there is a scar formation which is healing by scar formation. Now coming to steps in healing by repair, that is scar formation. Whenever there is a tissue injury, inflammatory reaction begins which tries to limit the damage and remove the injured tissue. That is the function of inflammation. At the same time, it also promotes the deposition of extracellular matrix components at the site of injury and stimulates angiogenesis. Angiogenesis means formation of new blood vessels from the existing blood vessels, and the steps are vasodilatation by nitric oxide, and also increased vascular permeability of the pre-existing blood vessel is seen due to vascular endothelial growth factor. The separation of the pericyte from the albuminal surface of the blood vessel, and there is migration and the proliferation of endothelial cells towards the site of the injury. Maturation of the endothelial cells into capillary sprouts or tubes is seen. There is a formation of the mature blood vessels which involves the recruitment of the pericytes and smooth muscle cells to form the periendothelial layer. The separation of the endothelial cell proliferation, migration and deposition of basement membrane seen to form a new blood vessel finally. So you can see here there is a quiescent blood vessel, then there is an injury. So vasodilatation occurs because of the vascular endothelial growth factor as well as the nitric oxide. You can see here the pericytes have separated from the edge, and there is a leading edge or leading tip by endothelial cells, damaged endothelial cells, and then there is elongation of the vascular stalk, the way you can see here, and there is a finally there is formation of new blood vessels, and these new blood vessels are actually leaky blood vessels. Then there is formation of granulation tissue. The first 24 to 72 hours of the repair process begins with the proliferation of the fibroblasts and the vascular endothelial cells. It forms specialized tissue called as granulation tissue, which is hallmark or characteristic of tissue repair. Microscopically, this granulation tissue is composed of newly formed blood vessels, and these newly formed blood vessels are leaky, which allows the passage of the plasma protein and the fluid into the extravascular space, which is responsible for edema often seen in granulation tissue. And also there is proliferation of fibroblasts. So you can see here there is a breach in the epithelium, there is an ulcer, okay, there is a scab formed there, and beneath that scab you can see there is granulation tissue composed of newly formed capillaries, capillary tubes, as well as inflammatory cells composed of neutrophils here, and as well as fibroblastic proliferation. Then again, the amount of the granulation tissue formed depends upon the size of the tissue deficit created by the wound or intensity of the inflammation. Scar formation, again there is a scar formation in the end. There is leukocytes, edema and angiogenesis disappears, which is accomplished by the increased accumulation of the collagen in the later part, and the granulation tissue scaffolding is converted into a pale avascular scar. What are the components of scar? It is composed of spindle-shaped fibroblast, dense collagen, fragments of elastic tissue and other extracellular matrix components. By the end of the first month, the scar consists of acellular connective tissue without any inflammatory infiltrate. Now after this, there has to be some remodeling, connective tissue remodeling, and the remodeling of the connective tissue framework is an important feature. It is a long-lasting phase of the tissue repair. So remodeling indicates that the equilibrium or balance between the extracellular matrix synthesis, collagen deposition and degradation has to be restored. Okay, this is the first part. The second part of